certain cultures, great story is placed upon ancient wisdom. As it is passed from one generation to the next, it acquires value. New information is respected, but lacking the patina of antiquity, it cannot and is not thought comparable with knowledge that has been handed down from the past. Knowledge that has been polished by 1,000,000 hands and 1,000 minds to shine with the luster of maturity is truly valuable. Knowledge that is heavy with truth, sage from experience, and brilliant like an expertly cut gem, priceless. This is true of art, literature, and the martial ways. The visual art of a people represents how previous generations saw their world. Literature tells us their thoughts and aspirations. The music they leave us is the voice of the people in gladness and in sorrow. The martial arts that come to us from antiquity show us how a people protected their nation, its culture, as well as the sanctity of the individual in times gone by. Like an expert artist or a musician, a master who had studied the arts of conflict for his entire lifetime and acquired much skill was revered and sought out for his knowledge, especially in tumultuous times. Such a man was Matayoshi Shinko, the author's father. Born in 1888, his entire lifetime was spent in the acquisition and perfection of martial skills. A student of Chukohu Aina of Gushikawa village, he learned the Saiyan Kama. From Master Irei of Chatan village, Tonfa Nunchaku. In Shanghai, he studied Nuntisai, Timbei, and Shaolin boxing with Master Kingai. His reputation was such that in 1915 he was asked to perform a demonstration in Tokyo to mark the anniversary of the emperor, and in 1921 with Chojo Miyagi sensei to honor then Crown Prince Hirohito's visit to Okinawa. This presentation of the martial art of the Matayoshi family by Shinpo Matayoshi is part 2 in a series of 2 instructional video programs in which part 1 dealt with the bow, nunchaku, tonfa, and eku. The history of the three-pronged truncheon of Okinawa is obscure. Some have claimed it came from China, but can produce no evidence to prove this conclusively. Others suggest that it is a purely Okinawan invention, yet for a country without a domestic source of metal, this seems unlikely. What we do know is that they were traditionally carried as a set of 3, 1 or 2 of which could be thrown, while the third was retained for use at close quarters. The sai has a number of unique features. It can be used to strike and stab, it can be used in pairs or singly, and, skillfully wielded, it can be locked onto the opponent's weapon and used to deprive him of it. However, it is not without drawbacks. As it has multiple striking areas, it must be carefully employed so that the user does not himself become a victim of his own weapon. Unlike other Okinawan weapons, it has no clear utilitarian purpose, and as the sai are large and heavy, they are awkward to transport.
これは
These are what we call sai, not manji sai. Originally, this part was sharp like a spear. Here as well, sharp like a spear. There are round and octagonal ones. These are modern sai. Originally, they were not like this. Here they used to be sharp, and sometimes with a hole in the handle, so a cord could be attached and the weapon swung around like this, or thrown and retrieved. Long ago this was always sharp. That was Zen. Now they are blunt. Blocking like this with a sai is unacceptable. This is how you receive really. This is no good. You will be hit here. Receive. This is the right way. Now, how do you hold the sai? This is no good. Doing it like this is wrong. Some people use the sai like this, but they are mistaken. This is the correct, the true way. Do it this way and you will catch yourself with the point. This is no good. Like this. Like this. In the case of blocks as well, some people do like this, but it's wrong. And so is this. This is the correct way. You must make sure your technique is large, otherwise you will endanger yourself. Always big like this. Stretch like this. This is no good. It's dangerous. Don't do like this, understand? Otherwise, when you pull back, you will get caught up. Straight, straight. Pull it back all the way like this. Not like this. Or this. That's it, but just to recap, don't forget to block like this. The upper block is performed like this. The wrists, attack your opponent's wrist like this. The other side is the same. This is the correct way. We always say sancho sai, 3 sai. 2 we keep here, 1 to throw this way, and the second to throw the other way. The one that's left you actually fight with. So we say sancho sai, 3 sai. You have to practice actually fighting with the single sai. This is a very interesting topic, but you cannot carry these weapons around, of course. These are known as sai. We also have manju no sai called nunti. These are not Chinese weapons. They can only be found in Okinawa. These are a pair of sai. Please study and work hard to develop your skill. Some of the unique attributes of the sai are shown clearly in the applications that follow. By inserting the sai like this, you can lock onto your opponent's weapon. See? Usually you do it like this. This is no good, see? You will hurt yourself. You must block like this. You divert the attack like this by sweeping it away. Then you can counterattack. The nunti shares many useful defensive attributes with its cousin the sai, but can also be used to attack at a distance. its very many variations, has been used in the Orient for everything from trimming trees to harvesting rice. It is the only Okinawan weapon to have a cutting edge, and this is usefully employed in combat. Uniquely, the kama can be used to cut into and hold an opponent's weapon, such as a staff, or attack the joint of the arm or leg when the opportunity presents itself, which will, under normal circumstances, end any contest. Slashing, cutting, stabbing, blocking and trapping techniques can be performed with one or two kama. It is fair to say that the ways in which the kama can be used are more diverse even than the shapes and sizes they occur in. Matayoshi Sr., our author's father, was famous for his ability with the kama. The dexterity with which he handled the sickle was known the length of the Okinawan archipelago and gave rise to the nickname Kama no te Matayoshi, sickle hands Matayoshi, Matayoshi being the Okinawan pronunciation of the family name. Some kama used to have a cord attached to them. They would make a hole here and attach a chain sometimes. They would also attach a chain here sometimes to use it like this. When a cord is attached to a kama, the weapon is called suruchin. They would sometimes attach a cord or a chain here as well, so they could swing it in front of the body at shoulder level like this. This is how we use the kama. Usually we do it like this. Like this. Like this. And like this. Even if you just touch yourself with the sharp edge of the kama, it can be serious. You must be able to do this even with your eyes closed. I was closing my eyes just now. Did you see that? In the case of ashibarai, in Japan they do it like this. In China, so. The technique is different. In Okinawa, like this. Then you can do like this. Japanese like this. Chinese like this.
れにやるわって、はい、今度はいで引っ掛けずにグッとください。でこれにあるわってこれにあるわこれにあるわでそのまま落とす時もあるわで、はい、下だいわやこのままこのままだいたいああいうところの横向いてきてこれすぐそうこれこういうだいたいそんなもんでうちではい冗談 OK きれいな新じゃあいくしっくりこれも大体同じですけどねはいはいパッチンじゃって中段はいそのままでもいいすぐそうこれを落としてさこれしちゃんか打っていって落としてるでしょはいすぐポイントをこっちだはい浅いこれいいしんよはいさこの2人